focus on is outside the top 10. Only one of the drivers has actually gone for a different compound to the hard. He's gone for the medium, which is on Daniel. Everyone else is on hards, and they could bring this back in. Yolta did get P3. Now, the thing to focus on is outside the top 10. Only one of the drivers has actually gone for a different compound to the hard. He's gone for the medium, which is on Daniel. Everyone else is on hards, and they could bring this back in. Yolta did get P3 after the end of the race, should I say. There was there was a random racing point just in the middle of the track there. Here we go then. Ulysses has managed to rejoin. Whether or not he's going to be able to race or not is a different question, but the lights are on. We're about to get started here with the Chinese Grand Prix. The drama will begin, and it's a delayed start. There we go. Finally, we're away. And has Nicholas been caught out by that? I don't think he has, but Hypers has actually matched his start. Look at this. Round the outside, Hypers holds it. Oh no, there's contact! Hypers is facing the wrong direction, but he's caught it. There's carnage further back. Dan gets a slam into the side. There's more carnage going all around. All of the cars are being shunted left, right, and centre. And Hypers had a drastic start, but so did Nicholas. Down into P2. Well, he stays P2, but Zones gets a beautiful line up towards turn 1.
Oh no!
We've lost the car. Is that Euless?
Euless and Danny. Yeah, Euless is lagging very, very badly, and sadly Danny was just the one out of position and in the wrong place at the wrong time. Oh, that was such a shame. But Zones now leads the way.
Like he's the biggest winner as he's under attack from Nicholas Longe in towards the final hairpin. He's going to get the line, going to get the position, but can Zones get the cutback? He's right there alongside of him. He's not going to get it. Nicholas with the dive of the century.
As Longe blasts past Daniel 14. I doubt Daniel's going to be quite so forgiving for Hypers. Hypers are going to bounce like that into the final turn. Oh, nearly gets turned into by the second racing point, but does get the move.
Nicholas is DRS slipstream his way up towards the hairpin. Nice and simple over. It's going to be a real drag race towards turn 1. He has done it.
Well, he knows he can't defend here. Hypers has got to get the move done as well. Is he going to be boxed in? Oh, that's a massive send if he's going to try and commit from that far back. Yeah, he got pushed over and run over to the distance. Oh, and again, we saw Hypers do this before. Side by side with turn 2. That's borderline different. Oh no, Yonti's round. Oh no, that's why you don't make a move into turn 2.
And, well, even Geton, he's actually jumped even more places. Look at this. He's gone from P12 to P10. Yolta obviously claimed up 8 places and got himself into P3, which is just incredible. And he's looking for it. Oh, he's broke on time. Hypers will use this to gain in. Look at the time he's gained. It's right there alongside of each other. Yolta and Nicholas, but Yolta gets the exit he needs. I think Nicholas...
Oh, Longe! I'm not surprised actually he went for the move. He saw Yolta struggling a couple of corners ago, so he's yinging that one on the inside. That he went for the move. Here comes Hypers. He's going to try and send that one the inside of 6 rather. Yeah, Yolta saw that one coming and was not interested in that at all. And Infamous has gone through as well.
Safety car. Safety car.
It is. There is no way they're going to stay, even if they go for another set of dry tyres. They have to come in, but what are they going to go for? It's got to be Inters, I'd have thought.
Oh, massive penalty for Infamous with a collision. He's out with Nicholas Longe, but the restart is underway, and immediately Brownie is shot up. Zones has lost position to it, and Nicholas Longe with contact between the two. Zones has forced him off the track. Hypers is through. Geton is through. Nicholas is struggling to hold everything together as Infamous is alongside of him despite the penalty. Geton runs wide. Hypers is looking for an inside line. He cannot get it. And Brownie is loving life at the front of the field. Because Boimels and Infamous are side by side as they drag race all the way down to the hairpin. Who's going to get it? Boimels has clipped the apex perfectly. Infamous is looking for a cutback but just cannot get the exit he needs. Panic is going to be able to hold himself there. It was a bit of a touch between the two. Samini runs wide as a result of the little knock that he's received. Yonti's now right on the gearbox of that Alfa Romeo. Oh, look at Panic on the inside of Yonta. This is a very smooth overtake from him to just find just enough gap between him, and he's just not going to be able to get it. DRS is enabled. This is where dry tyres come into life now. Has Infamous got the pace? Has everything just suddenly woken up for him? This is about to get even more. Nicholas, they're battling. He might actually get him here. This is an exit of dreams from Boimels. Look at this. He's actually got the pace. Pray that this works out, although he's trying to hold it around the outside. A little bit of a ghosting session. There's contact between them. Boimels has been rotated. Brownie will take the 25 points as we come to the final corner. Hypers. There it is. So yes, they finish 1 and 2 in that order before the stewards penalty is applied. Hypers will get knocked down into P2. Get Owned will take P3. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Baku. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and as always, it is my beautiful pleasure to bring to you my co-commentator, Mr. King Kodiak. How you doing?
Just about gathering my breath from what we just commentated on. That was absolutely fantastic. But it does not end there. We have the streets of Baku awaiting us now. 20 turns of really difficult, very challenging corners, some really squeaky bum moments. I look at you, Castle section. You got no chance. You got no choice but to ying it and hope into those areas. But yeah, this is a great track that is so challenging.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one nonetheless. So it's still Nicholas Longuet holding it at the top spot, along with Ipers there chasing him down. But the driver's standings was pretty spicy. The constructor standings is equally as so, as Mercedes are actually leading with 84 points and Racing Point there with 62. Renault in third with 47, Williams in fourth with 29, Toro Rosso in fifth with 27, Ferrari 6th, 21, Haas 7th, Alfa Romeo 8th, McLaren 9th, and Red Bull in 10th. And this is the track that they're going to be tackling today. 20 turns in total, 3.7 miles long, with some major DRS zones, biggest one being that back straight, the one that will lead you all the way through up to turn 1. You know, turn 3 is going to be one we saw last season in RNL. Zerd and Buemos had a major contact where Zerd just clipped the back of Buemos quite severely and sent Buemos pointing in the wrong direction, which ultimately cost Zerd, but you know, it can cause Buemos. This is going to be the major area. This is Castle, where Beaker and Yolta had a very scary moment. Beaker hit the wall and Yolta did end up getting rotated as a result of it. Now we are in the not there yet. We're not there yet. Bear with, apologies. We are waiting for the drivers to ready up. They're almost ready to go. I did have a few little issues with the lobby being set up. I didn't realize it was me that was signing it, but I've sorted that now. We're all good to go. The drivers are just prepping themselves. Is the right track, I can assure you. So the only thing really left to ask you then is, King Kodiak, is before we get into this, do you have a favoured constructor to take the overall season?
Oh, that's early for that.
It is. But I mean, we've seen three races so far, right? Where we've seen who can really push for it and who's really got the commitment. It looks like Mercedes have actually got their strategy in the bag, really.
Well, yeah, sensible money at this point would go to Mercedes, but you can't discount Racing Point. Mainly on the shoulders of Nicholas Longuet, Daniel 14 doing what he can to get the points for that particular team, but Hypers and Ghetto doing a great job of maintaining that all-important consistency. Hypers taking the win last week, for instance, as a prime result.
Yeah, exactly. And those beeps that you can hear signify we are about to get into the qualifying session, but some of you already seeing some spoilers, which are not yet spoilers, by the way, just pointing out. I misclicked. I hit Williams win by accident, and it showed apparently that Williams won the Constructors, which is what prompted me to ask you, actually, who do you think would win the Constructors Championship this season? And I don't think it's going to be that simple to eke out, is it? That's the problem. You can't really say, oh, Mercedes is going to run away with this, because whilst both drivers have done exceptionally well to get where they got to go, this is going to be a tough one, I think.
Yeah, it's very hard to predict this early in the season. I mean, all it takes is for Hypers, for instance, to bin it in one round, not appear for another one, and suddenly the championship is turned completely on its head. And speaking of Daniel 14, he's had a technical problem, is not in the session.
He has let me know he has to restart, so there is a possibility we may need to re-host the lobby. I'm just going to wait and see if his teammate can invite him back in first. and then we'll work out whether or not we do need to restart. But Yalta has retired, so I think a restart is going to be required. Oh no, I remember penalties being applied.
Was Yalta in trouble? Yeah, I was just well, Brownie wasn't in trouble. That's an unusual one. Both Renaults.
Yeah, I think they've been dealt a penalty blow because they didn't do their confirmation in time. I need to confirm if that's the case or not. I'm pretty sure it is.
Brownie was second last week as well. What a shame. He really got the strategy brilliantly well in the mixed conditions. Crazy race. I did say we'd have Shanghai shenanigans, and I was not proven wrong.
No, definitely not. So yeah, I am right. The Renault boys have been dealt a quali ban. It was because of their not getting the race confirmation in time. I think we may have to do a race restart though. Daniel's not had an invite. It looks like he's at least not rejoined. So yeah, we will need to very swiftly get this set back up and underway again.
Yeah, Longay's out. Their zones has retired from the session. And there we go. So the migrating host problem. I just think
that's because I'm host.
Oh, it's because you've left. There we go.
Yeah, it's because I'm host.
I always kind of see that and go, "Oh, here we go, problem." Yeah, old habits die hard.
Well, yeah, this is that. All right. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with us. I'm just going to get this lobby set up again, and then we'll get the race back underway. So what we'll do is, whilst I set this up, I'm going to play some music. Bear with us. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for the delay. We did have a technical difficulty. Sorry, he's here. We're good. We're okay. I was panicking there for a second, thinking that Hypers was going to have an issue, but he has had an issue, but he's left when he's already joined, so he can rejoin. Oh, thank the Lord that that's not another problem. I believe I've cut Mr. Concordiac off. No, I did not. Are you there, sir?
I'm here.
You are here. Brilliant. So we're just waiting for the boys to sort the setups out. We're going to see the Renaults retire, remember, and Zone's doing the same because all three of them have a qualifying ban for different reasons. So obviously Renault didn't get their confirmation in time. That's why they've received what they've got. And Zone's in a similar situation. There we go. That's where the retirements are coming in now. So I'm going to do this to you. I know I'm apologizing, but I'm not apologizing. I want to hear your top three. Do you think that Hypers has got it in the... In fact, I'll give you a bit of crucial information first. Both Hypers and Nicholas have been in talks with each other, and to try and entertain themselves a little bit, they've shared some knowledge between the two of them as to setups.
Mm.
So that might influence your decision.
Well, Australia didn't go quite Hyper's way, though, under the same premise, no?
Well, that was a strategy call that was very different between the two of them. That was what caused them to... So the word on the street is that Nicholas said, "Oh, I'm going to go soft to mediums." Soft to hard, sorry. He said, "Oh, I'm going to go soft to hards," and then actually went soft to mediums and then won the race. So, you know, Hypers was not too happy about that. And then he got a harsh lesson learned, I think.
So, are we thinking that Hypers may overhaul Mr. Longo this time on set, or due to a setup difference?
I don't personally. I think I'll give you my prediction that might influence it a little bit. Nicholas spent a hell of a lot of time practicing this track when it came towards being in preparation for the F1 Esports. So he was of the impression he was going to race for it, and due to different reasons, all fair reasons, he didn't get to race in Baku in the F1 Esports, but he practiced for it nonetheless. So he's got that knowledge already anyway of where he can find a hell of a lot of time. But Hypers is the sort of person who puts in an obscene amount of practice into every race he goes into. So there's still a very much an opportunity for Hypers to be quick. But my worry is if we have a similar situation like we had in Australia, where if Nicholas has misled Hypers in any way in terms of setup and Hypers believed him, there is a possibility Hypers may fall for the trap again.
The thing is, though, you can easier figure out a setup deficiency or setup that doesn't work for you. A strategy you can't know until it's too late that it's the wrong one.
Yeah.
If Hypers has put in as much practice as I would understand that he would do as well, then he'd know what strategy, what setup would work for him. So I'm not entirely convinced. If Longe has tried to lead him down the wrong path, Hypers should have spotted it. Unless he's got a setup that he hasn't practiced, and then he deserves everything he gets. If that's the case.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you don't race a car. You don't know if you don't know how it's going to behave. Not a Baku. Someone like Monza that you can run 3 miles off track, maybe. Baku, no. If you're going to drive an unpredictable car at a track with no runoffs in it, then you deserve to be squashed. Quite frankly. Big bold statement. But we're seeing a lot of people come out on the soft tyres. No one is favouring the hards this time. Look at the racing points as Longe giving Daniel 14 a huge toe. But it's so important.
Invalidated. Oh, no.
It was invalidated, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Imagine going to all that length to then invalidate. That is heartbreaking. But I think
didn't see where
he
did it either. I didn't see where Daniel did that either, in fairness.
You'd have thought they would have communicated. I mean, they may have done. He may have just carried on anyway. But Infamous sets the fastest lap on the board so far with a 1:36.909, which is a full... Well, I say full. It's 8/10. I was about to say it's a second and a bit, but it's not. It's actually 8/10 ahead of his teammate Yonti.
Well, the Haas mean business. I don't think those hard. I don't think we're going to see a board full of hard tires runs this time. Well, we're already not seeing that. I don't reckon anyone's going to pay a blind bit of attention to those hard tires here. But we will see. Wouldn't be the first time that I have made an inaccurate tire call. I'm seeing people setting laps on them. Obviously, Mizzo, Dan, Dennis, Danny, Kai, all getting a lap on them. Some idiots, Boemels, and Copy out on them already.
Here we go again.
On the mediums.
More toe from the Mercedes. Get on towing Hypers. Might be just a touch. I think he may have actually got that just right. And he's in the pits.
He's in the pits. So that's just practice for the main event. But we see Hypers do this pretty much every week, don't we? We see him come out really early on the softs and not set a time on them.
Yeah.
I think he might have done that every race. Eknik turned up to second position with a 37.3. And what a shock. Mr. Longe up at the top by only a couple of tenths, but then he wasn't pole last week, if I recall.
He was not.
So he's beatable, but I am fully expecting, exactly as you said, Raggy, I reckon Longe is going to destroy people here. I don't think it's going to be even close.
I don't know. The only thing that's making me think against it, because if I were based on just the information I had earlier alone, regarding how much practice that Nicholas put in for the F1 Esports, then I would, I'd have been like, yeah, absolutely, he's clearly faster than anyone else on the track right now. But I've seen the amount of practice that Hypers is putting in. I was watching Copy, they almost went in the wall. I've been seeing the amount of practice that Hypers is putting in order to get good and actually be on par in pace with Nicholas Longe. He's putting in obscene amounts of time in comparison to what I've seen in other people, but he also does it in such a way where it's quality of time. And he's really making the practice work. I've watched his lap times. I've seen his sort of race pace indicator, if you like, and it really, really looked solid.
Oh, the Hypers has proven himself to be the only person to put a challenge to Longe. But I've just got a feeling, because of the amount of time that Longe would have to put into this particular track, not just at F1 Esports, in qualification for F1 Esports as well. Yeah. So I just think Longe is going to run off with this one. And what do I know? He might be dead in the wall at turn one, at Castle section. It might be dead in the wall at turn one. It can happen. You can be the best in the world, but if you don't make it to the end, you don't stand for anything. That's the thing. That is the big unknown, particularly here at Baku. You could argue Monaco has a similar kind of moniker, but Baku is a much younger circuit. It doesn't have as much familiarity about it as Monaco does. Equally, Baku is a darn sight faster than Monaco is. So it's just one of these, oh, God alive, Ghetto, I was on board with him and he's so close to the wall. But you have to be.
Yeah.
I could not run this track. I honestly, I never have tried to, and I don't think I ever could, because I do not have the cojones to be that close to the wall at that kind of speed. We saw, balls to the wall in the ERO versus BRM races, but you've got to have, got to have had your Weetabix for breakfast before you come anywhere near Baku. Yeah, and yeah. I don't have that kind of racing bravery. I just don't.
I mean, it is crazy, to be honest. And a lot of these guys are relying on muscle memory that they've practiced over and over and over again. And the bit that gets really scary is when your tires have worn down quite considerably. You're losing your rear. You're losing control of the car in all these difficult areas of the track. And Castle becomes a hit and hope, really. Just pray you make it through without any issues. And I think ultimately we're going to see mistakes from these drivers. We're going to see people bin it in Castle. We might even see quite a few safety cars here. So the strategy, you may think here that, mediums to hards is absolutely the solution here. Might not be. If you get a safety car, which I think is what these guys are banking on, I'm seeing Nicholas, Infamous, and I'm seeing Hypers on these soft tyres, which suggests to me that they're going to go for a two-stop strategy because the softs just absolutely fall apart here. I think we might see a fair few safety cars come out today.
Also, I'm surprised to see Longe come out so quickly again. I would have thought he just sat in the pits for a little while longer. He's straight back out on it.
Yeah, he is.
That surprised me a little bit.
Now, I'm intrigued.
Ulysses has done 3 laps on those mediums. Now, we know that the harder tyres do need a few laps to get themselves properly up to temperature. But the mediums don't tend to need 3 laps. That's not a bad time, 38.2. But I mean, look at the gap between himself. I say 1.5 seconds between himself and Longe. I mean, the medium to soft difference isn't that high, so it's not bad, but it's not a lightning lap from Euless. I feel a bit bad criticizing the lap in that sense because I know damn well I could never do it. I would barely survive up to the castle session, let alone 50% distance on this particular track. I know my own racing abilities well enough, but yeah, it's we've got a bit of a curveball here. But I think rain is a fairly obvious no.
Well, I can give you the weather report because I actually had to set it before this as Yonti goes faster, 137.457, so he still stays P5, but he is a tenth and a bit off of it Nickturn, who sat there in P4. But we are not going to be seeing any rain today. There will be a bit of cloud, but it will go back to clear again when we get into the race. So fear not, there will be no rain. It will be all grand. But that doesn't stop these drivers from planting it even further up the field as Daniel's now up there P3. Look at that. I mean, I saw some text channel between Nicholas and Daniel in the driver's booth, and there was a bit of drama going on there where Nicholas was egging Daniel to be faster and faster and faster, and he needs to step his game up if you want to win this Constructors' Championship, and he's absolutely done that. He has delivered. But those of you that are in the chat watching on the Twitch stream, then enter your predictions for the P1, 2 and 3. We have 6.5 minutes remaining. You've got a little teaser already as to who it's going to be, and those of you that are watching on the replay on YouTube, make sure you enter in the comments right now what you think is going to be the 1, 2, 3, and also your prediction going into the race. Looking at it right now, it's looking really good for Racing Point.
Longe may have already been this lap. He had a massive lockup coming into turn 3, and he looked like he cut the curb a bit too much coming through 7. He may have already been this lap. We'll see as he continues to work his way through the castle section and down to finish this. But he's still turning ERS up all the way. You don't tend to do more than 1 time lap on the soft tyres. So, but again, looking at the amount of people out there on the soft tyres are coming in. Yeah, he jumped massively over the curb at 15. He's been this one. I'm surprised he's using as much ERS energy as he is. Surely he's just going to come straight back into the pit after that.
He might be doing it to just get himself back as quick as possible. I think that's all he's doing ultimately.
Nickturn, 36.8 now on the board. So,
hello.
Yeah, welcome aboard. He hasn't had the greatest season so far, but that's a real statement of intent. Nicely done.
Oh, he's committing. Interesting. Why would you commit to that lap with 5 minutes remaining of the session when you know that it's slower?
And his ERS has turned off. I think he's had a brain fart. I think he's forgotten to come in. I think he's out of pure habit finished the lap, and he's suddenly gone,
I was meant to come in now.
He's not going to... Is he really going to have time?
Ooh. Oh, Crow apparently doesn't have DRS working, is the information I've just been told.
Oh dear.
I would explain it.
Well, yes, I mean, DRS does fail. It does return as well occasionally, but oh dear. That well, I mean, still a cracking lap from our own Chromatic. But we'll see if anybody can topple it.
So I've seen a prediction or two in the chat. Kai being in the top 3 as well, which would be good to see. He's currently chosen the medium tyres, so if he does decide to qualify on the mediums, the likelihood is he's not going to make it to the top 3. Because, I mean, look at these times on the softs. There's no way you could do that time on the mediums. That would just be tremendous. But, you know, can't rule anything out. Kai could change his mind. He is still in the pits. I mean, Copy's just decided it's soft time. So he's gone into the pits to change those over. Maybe go for another set of softs. But 140.2 is set on the hards. It's very easy to improve that, to be truthfully honest.
Get Owned is coming back in again. He's currently 8th with a 37.7. As that is Danny, I think, that is coming back in, or Panpernick. One of the Ferraris, one of the Racing Points on the way. Must be Daniel, I would imagine. As Mr. Longe has returned to the pits.
Oh, it's that time. It is the calm before the storm as they prepare for your favourite phase, the Banzai phase.
The Banzai phase, yeah. And Longe has made it back to the pits. If he gets turned around quick enough, should be able to redo his lap. The Red Bull's coming out. Not many people on track. Nickturn has run out of fuel. He is crawling to the
Oh dear.
well, he's in now, but it was absolutely crawling. There we go. Kai and Copy have come back out, but they've gone for the mediums, so Kai will not be towards the top end of the grid to start with, but where you start is pretty irrelevant. It is most certainly where you finish. Hypers is back out again. He's on the soft tires. He's actually coming to the end of his lap. I'm going to stay with Hypers and see how he is able to improve. He has not got his teammate for that all drastic or that all important slipstream either, so that's going to be telling.
I don't know how Euless got away with that, but he almost binned it in Castle and has not received any wing damage as a result. He did hit the wall pretty hard, and I thought that was it, done and dusty. He even lost his rear end as a result of that contact with the wall, but he's now setting himself up to go, I assume to go again. If he pulls in the pits, his quality is over. He can't make it in and out again. He's going to have to go right about now. Mode 4. Are you going for it? Yep, there it is. He's going for it.
I'm surprised to see so many people still in the pits. Longa has come out in time to get his outlap done. Oh, Hyper's just grazed the wall on the exit of turn 3. But I'm surprised. Oh, here we go. A lot of people are leaving that a little too late. Some people have left it too late. But there's a lot of people that are going to be struggling for track position at the wrong time.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's a real bad area. This is not a track you want to be stuck in traffic, because it will just not work out for you. The only time you want traffic is when you are on the back straight and they're giving you the tow. Now I'm looking right now to see how the Mercedes drivers are doing. Ghetto is a bit further up the field. I've said this is going to be an outlap, so we may see. I don't think they've actually done this right. Have they done this right?
Well, for the slipstream, possible. Yeah. Because Hypers is coming back down. I thought he'd done a couple of turns. Well, that was someone getting royally out of Hyper's way. No, you've done that wrong, Ghetto. You needed to get on. Oh, no, you may well have actually got on the gas early enough. I thought Hypers had already invalidated this, but here we go. Big amount of draft. Can Hypers improve? 37, 1.4. Holy moly. 36,285. Wow, what
there
a cracker.
It is.
And that's how powerful the slipstream is over that distance. And that's exactly what Longa does not have. He's actually giving it to Daniel, if anything. There's Daniel the one behind. Well, Daniel's on the one on the time lap. So, yeah, Longa is giving it to his teammate, Fanar. But, of course, Longa, he's not going to have the same in return.
He's not. But here we come with Daniel then. Is this going to be a good fast lap time? It's slower.
Invalid. Oh, yeah, no better. Oh, dear. Worth a try, but
get it all.
Pay off.
I mean, he's still P5. Let's not take anything out of this for him. He's done a really good job, but it's just not enough. Now, all eyes are going to be locked onto this fine man here. Although I do want to go on board with the Williams driver. Copy's retired. It's Nick Tin who's just starting, so that never mind. We've got Red Bull coming. Is that Kai? No, it's Dennis who's also starting. So there is it. Oh, Copy actually binned it. Copy's actually binned it in the corners before ping pong.
Oh dear.
Oh, we lost Daniel. Has Daniel binned it as well? Daniel's also binned it. He's lost it on his in-lap. We've lost a Haas driver as well.
No, both Haas's are running. Infamous and Yonti are still running.
But one's stopped moving on turn 3. Or now finally moving.
It must be Yonti. Yeah, Yonti, I think it's slowed down. Infamous is on he's on a screamer. He's bouncing over the curbs at 15. His ERS has turned up to full, but of course he won't have that. He won't have the slipstream down towards the line. He's already done a lap on these tyres. 36.909 his time, puts him in 4th position. We'll see if he commits to completing this one. So he sweeps through turn 20, such as it is. Yeah, he is going to down towards the line, and that is a 36.6. So it puts him in 2nd position. And again, if he'd had the slipstream, he could well have challenged for that top spot on Longa. 36.508, and again, there was no slipstream. Well, certainly no slipstream from his teammate. I think there was a McLaren. Dan is a little bit ahead of Nicholas, so he may have picked up a little bit of slipstream from the back of the McLaren. But it was not enough. It was Hypers who is going to take another pole in this season.
Yeah, Pampernik will not improve. He's currently struggling. You got the 2 Red Bull drivers ahead of Yonti. There's Kai giving a sort of tow to Dennis. I think he wanted to give more tow than he ended up giving. But here comes Dennis then. P16 right now will cross the line and goes up to P9. Really, he's on the mediums in the top 10. That is looking really solid for Dennis to be able to get a properly good result here today.
Well, if he's committed to that strategy now, whether you realize or not, but that was a cracker then from the medium shot Red Bull. As the qualifying session is all done. And I get XP. I'm happy about this.
Well, I'll give you the rundown. As Hypers, he managed to get pole position. You got to argue, was it because of the toe that he got it? Because Nicholas didn't get that, and he still came 2/10 within it. So, I think the race is going to be a good one. Let's see how it fans out. As we do have Infamous there in P3, with Nickton in P4, Daniel P5, Pampernik 6th, Yonti 7th, Get Earned 8th, Dennis 9th, the first of the and the fastest of the medium runners, with Eulis there in 10th, Buemos in 11th, Dan in 12th, Mizzo 13th, Danny Coe 14th, Summit at 15th, Kai 16th. Then we have Copy 17th, and then obviously the 3 DNFers, which were Brownie, Yalta, and indeed Zerns. So, do you believe Hypers has enough to hold Nicholas back for P1? Or do you believe that Infamous has enough to take the win overall?
No. Plain and simple. No, I reckon this one, if Longe doesn't bin it or gets absolutely mullered, I reckon this one is his in the bag. It's his to lose, I should realistically say.
Yeah.
Ironically, the top 3 for qualifying this race was actually my race prediction from last week. Otherwise, I think I had Nicholas and Hypers the other way around. So, Infamous doing what he can to put the cat amongst the pigeons. Slightly late than some joining the season, so he's really proving his worth. But let's do the whole top 3 thing as we normally do. I'm going to go with my same prediction from last week. I reckon Longe's got this one. If he doesn't get absolutely killed, it's going to be Hypers and Infamous as the rounding up the podium 3.
I don't know. I think safety cars will play a factor here, and I think Hypers will pull off a monstrous strategy. So I'm actually going to give it to Hypers. I think Hypers will take the win here, weirdly. I probably will eat these words later, honestly. If Hypers does take the win, then brilliant. I think Nicholas will obviously be P2, but P3 is the bit where I'm kind of unsure, because I think it's still going to be close, even in the top 3. I don't think it's going to be a clear-cut marginal, a clear-cut win by these 2 at the front. I think Infamous does have the pace to be in there, and I think Nickton will also be in a similar boat. It's just management of penalties, management of damage. I'm going to give Infamous the P3, just purely because I've heard solid things about his driving performance, and I think he has got more than enough to be able to get up there. I just have to see how he does, and I'm also watching these medium runners to see if they're able to make that God tier strategy work out. My worry is if and when a safety car does come out, what do they do? Like, you got to hold your position. You got to just stay out, surely. Stick to the strategy. You can't change it up, because if you do, your race is over.
I'm a bit surprised to see Yalta starting on the softs from 19th. Well, good luck. From back there, a place like Baku, that's going to be a whole lot of hard work. I mean, for all I know, Kai is going to be Kai, Copy, and Brownie. I don't know. If that's the thing. If someone blinks coming through the castle section, I've seen that section blocked before. Yeah. I've seen someone stack it on the way in and literally block the way, and three or four cars have piled into the back of them. Baku is just one of these tracks you can't predict. Exactly as you were saying just now. Safety cars could completely ruin, will almost certainly ruin someone's race. Why is there a massive gap between 3rd and 4th? The top 3 are like, come on!
Let's go!
And Nickton's like, nah, I'm enjoying the sights, deal with it. And there's a gap between Daniel and Pampernik as well. So Pampernik's like, yeah, I'm just going to sit back for a while.
Just relax, as
That's
you do.
You'll wait for me, bitch.
I think Yalta's actually completely banking on safety cars. I think he's really hoping to have that payout for him. But the lights are on then. Here in Baku, it's about to be go time. Nope.
It will.
No, we're still... Oh, there we go. We are finally away. Hypers gets a pretty solid start, but Nicholas has got the run of dreams. He knows he's got a better run, but he just hasn't got the move done. It's too short a run up towards turn 1, so Hypers will hold it. Big contact further downfield. Lots of cars everywhere. Danny's facing the wrong direction. Euless is involved in this as well. There's definite wing damage on that Ferrari. Copy has been injured as well, I believe. We have a virtual safety car. Left end plate for the Williams has definitely been lost, but that's only a virtual, not an official.
Well defended from Hypers there. He could easily have given up on that one, but he absolutely planted that on the outside of turn 1. He had every confidence that Nick wasn't going to drive into the side of him, which is a fair amount of confidence to have because we know how good he is. But he had equal amount of confidence that that was going to is so close to the barriers everywhere you go. That was brilliantly defended.
Oh,
into
we're
turn
underway
1.
again.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, we're not messing about.
Yeah, Hypers couldn't really do anything about that. He was halfway through that turn, but Daniel and Panpernik are scrapping side by side. Not where you want to do that, coming into the castle section. But
who was that?
yeah.
Someone's lost an end plate. Someone's lost an end plate.
I don't know.
One of these front runners has lost an end plate.
Oh dear.
I think it might be Nicholas.
We'll have a look.
It is. It's Nicholas. He's lost the right end plate. Oh, he's lost more wing. That was a big collision with the wall there. He's got serious wing damage on the right hand side. This will be the thing that affects him now. Look at this. Infamous all over the back of Nicholas. Hyper's already built a 1.2 second gap, and what was so favoured towards Nicholas has just suddenly dropped out. And like you said, it was his to lose, and now it's his to lose a P2 as Infamous is through, and off he goes.
Well, thanks, Crow. I put all the faith on you, and yeah, is he going to be able to slow that one down? Just, only just. He comes storming into the pit there. That has, yeah, Longue has got to hope for a safety car now. That's the only way he's going to get himself into, back into this. Copy has come back into the pit as well.
Yeah, Buemels. Buemels, and who was that, Brownie? Who was that?
So
someone else was off in the wall as well there for a second. I think that might have been the Red Bull. Oh, it is. Dennis, mega wing damage. He hasn't got a wing. That's how bad it is. You say Red Bulls give you wings. Well, you're going to have to go get one from the pit stop because that's the only way you're going to get that back. Yep, full safety car. This is a godsend for Nicholas. These guys that chuck themselves in the pits, he's going to recover all of those positions back. I would be very surprised if we don't see all of the top 6 chucking in the pits. The only ones to worry about is Yonti. He will get double stacked if he does.
Well, Yelter is rubbing his hands. He's up to 11th then from starting at 19th on those soft tyres. Fuel is no longer an issue. Tyre wear is going to be less of a problem. So, but yeah, I think you're right. I think everyone that started on the softs is probably going to bin them now, but we will see. It depends how long the safety car is out for. We know the virtual safety car was never going to last too long. Who was it that lost the ring? It was Dennis, wasn't it? He's just... Yeah, he's turned that into... Well, he's turned it more into a boat now, essentially. So yeah, he doesn't have to push, but the problem is you want to get back to the pits, but it's so easy to just push that tiny bit too hard. These things are so clumsy when they don't have the downforce on. And he creeps through turn 15. He's not going to lose too much time, at least. Off the back of that. What a crazy race. We're only on lap 2.
Yeah, exactly. And all of the race engineers right now are going to be trying to think about what do we need to do here? Who do we need to... How do we play this out? Hypers, are you going to pit? Yes, you need to pit. Infamous pits. Nixon's going to pit as well. Daniel's going to pit too. So is Pampernik. So is Yonti. Question is, do they go hards or do they go mediums? Hards, I don't think will make it to the end of this Grand Prix. Who's going to want mediums for Infamous? Mediums for Hypers? Oh, Infamous has jumped Hypers.
He has.
Wow, the Haas pit stop clearly better than the Mercedes pit stop. Or he got held up.
There are a few people trying hards out there. You've got Eknikton, Yelter, Panpernik, Zones and Buemels. That's nearly 50-50.
Yeah. Nicholas has recovered though. Look at that. Look how much he's recovered from this.
Nice.
That is a massive phew moment for Nicholas there. So he obviously got a big scare into that situation. Really thought, I'm going to lose this race now. But the safety car coming out right at that moment in time meant that this has helped him massively. I tell you someone who's really struggled today. Copy. He's down in P20 and he's now in the pits chucking on some hards. It didn't need a wing replacement, but I think he's got an alternative strategy he wants to go for. He should be able to get back to the pack in time for the restart, but if he doesn't, his race is done for.
Someone that's also been their race is Dennis. There is no way you're going to make softs work at this point. Well, unless you are incredibly lucky and getting through the field, I cannot see how Dennis is going to recover that. But we will see. Dan leading the way in the McLaren. Mizzo 2, Kai Bugini in a podium spot. Of course, the top 5 on their starting tyres still. Brownie again in a decent position. Some idiot right up there as well.
Honestly, Kai Bacchini is in a really good place right now. P3 on the hards. He's got such a good... The main worry he's going to have now is he needs to keep himself level-headed. He also needs to make sure his tyres don't cool down too much, because on this track, if you lose tyre temps going into these heavy braking zones, you will just skid. You'll lock up, you'll skid, you'll disappear into the runoff area, and then you've lost all of the hard work you've achieved so far. So Kai really needs to channel that inner Buddha, if you like, be so at one with yourself and your car, and make sure that you don't lose it going on the restart. Stay on the back of Mizzo. This could be Kai getting some huge points today.
He'll also want Copy to hurry up. He wants that Williams to get to the back of the pack and needs that safety car to disappear, because those hards are going to be really, really difficult to keep in decent temperature. And Dennis is in again. I'm not surprised. I bet you he didn't mean to go onto the softs. So he's now going to ditch those for, I'm assuming, is it a hards? Yes, hard tyres on for the Red Bull. That is not a surprise at all. So Copy he's hooning it, admittedly, but he's still a long way off the back of the field. He's a safety car. I don't reckon the safety car is going to be in this lap. So
I think it is.
You think he'll get there?
Pretty sure it comes in this lap.
Cool. Well, that'll be a good thing. Kai Bugini will be, well, indeed all of the hard runners will be wanting to get on with it. Ooh, well. Yeah, the strategists are all like, well, there went all the previous plans.
Just throw the book out the window in this case. I think when it comes to Baku and Monaco and these other street circuits, it's just chuck the strategy book out, go on the softest tyres possible initially, and just see where you can get. Now, also to mention to you that those of you that are in the Twitch chat, you will have your ability to get the driver of the day vote in, but that will be from lap 18 onwards. So make sure you're ready for that to come out. As soon as it does, feel free to, I think it's exclamation mark vote in the chat. We'll give you a link to go and vote, but it won't open until lap 18.
Copy and Dennis have now found the back of the field. So that information will be passed to the safety car driver. It's going to be interesting to see what the medium runners do as well. How far will they go? How close are they going to stick to their original strategy? Safety car's not showing a sign of coming in just yet.
I'm trying to watch the temperatures on the wheel. I mean, granted, it's a bit pixelated. It's not that easy for me to see. I can see, though, rear left for Kai, 77 degrees. He needs to warm these up. Yep, safety car in this lap. Here we go. Then. So this is about to be the rundown that we need. I'm going to watch Dan to see how he decides when this race restarts. Obviously, we do have to wait for the safety car to get back in, but this is all in Dan's hands to decide when he wants to shoot away.
He's got to time it right as well. He's got to let the safety car get sufficiently away before he floors it. And no, we're not underway just yet. I mean, realistically, he should have backed them up a bit more than this.
Yeah.
Safety car should be in. They can't overtake it too quickly, otherwise they will get penalised for it. Safety car is in.
And he's off. Here we go then. Restart is underway. Dan has decided it's go time. Mizzo didn't get caught out. Neither did Kai. In fact, Kai's actually under attack from some idiot who really didn't get caught out. Big lock up there from the McLaren up in P1. But Kai Bacchini's kept it very well under control for the, up ahead of the field now. Yolta's side by side with Pampernik. This is a P11. Big mistake. And lots of missions happening. Sorry, words not working. Oh, big contact. Copy again? No?
No, it's the
Toro Rossos.
Ulysses, they're stationary. Ulysses has now gotten underway, and Buemos, I think they were kind of waiting for each other to move as the Toro Rosso pair, Buemos and Ulysses, have lost a colossal amount of time. Yelta has just overtaken Panic as well. Plenty of changing going on. Longe has gone up into 8th position ahead of Daniel, so Hypers is going to have to get on with it if he wants to maintain the potential race lead. Everyone ahead of him has yet to pit.
Infamous almost pounded into the back of Hyper's gearbox there when they were just a little bit caught out on the braking, but it's still all together. This is a massive trail of cars that's going on right now, but Kai Bicini, he's the one who's leading this train. It's a 1.5 second gap between him and Mizzo, and it's all because he's having to defend so hard against some idiot. These guys on the mediums obviously feeling far more comfortable, but look out for Hypers, who's looking for Brownie, who's also looking for some idiot, and it's just a train of battle non-stop.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I was just looking at Dennis and copy swapping positions. Also bear in mind that Kai Bicini is on the hard tyres, so his tyres are not going to be giving him the grip than pretty much everybody else around him. I think he was didn't have a great exit, I don't think, from turn 16. Here we go. Hypers alongside Brownie. Here comes Infamous. This could get very interesting. Longate's not close enough to make anything of it. 3 wide coming into turn 1. Someone's going to have to blink, and it is Brownie that he's survived. Hypers has gone through into 5th position. Infamous remains where he is.
And Samidia also made a move on Kai Bicini. He's up in a P3 now. That podium position is very much looking juicy for, well, both of the Alphas, actually. 2nd and 3rd. But look at Kai Bicini under attack here from Hypers, who's going to go down the inside in towards turn 2. This is going to be a tight one. A little bit of a nudge between the two drivers. Kai's gone off into the wall. That's an end plate that's gone missing off of Kai's right wing. That's just a little bit too tight between the two of them. I'm not sure who was necessarily at fault, but look at Nicholas. He's really struggling to get past Brownie.
He is, the Renault, doing a brilliant job of keeping that racing point behind. And that's exactly what Hypers is after. He does not want Longa anywhere near him. There's the House of Infamous making a huge move on Kai Bicini before they get anywhere near turn 7. Goodness me, Infamous means business. But equally, he doesn't want to lose time against Hypers. Hypers now is behind some idiot who is, he's the lead hard shot car. So Infamous knows if he loses touch with Hypers at this stage, he's going to be very difficult to gain. And equally, those behind, he's going to hope that Kai Bicini can keep them behind him. Kai Bicini a little hesitant coming through 15, but he's got wing damage, so it's not really a surprise. Brownie is keeping the pressure on, but yeah, as you say, Longa is not having a great race so far. Let's see what happens with this pack as they come down the start-finish straight once again. Does a Kai Bicini come in this time? He's going to lose positions whether he does or doesn't. He's not really going to be able to do it. Hypers has already nailed somebody here. Here comes Longay. Oh, Brownie got boxed in by Kai Bicini. And the side-by-side between the Red Bull and the Racing Point coming down towards turn 1.
They're 3 wide.
3 wide indeed with Brownie in there. Brownie lost out. Brownie has definitely lost out because Daniel shot through. Oh my, well, they're side by side, so he hasn't shot through effectively. Oh, nicely done. Daniel held on to that one on the outside of turn 2. Brownie down to 9th.
Yeah, absolutely insane scenes. Infamous is through on some idiot as well. Kai Bicini's looking like he might get overtaken here by Nicholas. He's going for a move. This is going to be a run. Is he going to shove him into the side? There's contact between the two. They're going off again, but this time Kai manages to avoid damage due to the impact that he's just received from Nicholas, and they're still scrapping. Nicholas is losing so much time, and you can see the desperation kicking in. He's trying to get past Kai as quick as possible, and Kai is just fighting back, and he's got every right to do so. This is for track position, but finally, Nicholas makes it through.
And Nixon almost got squashed into the barrier by Brownie, who's right behind the battle you were talking about with Daniel and Kai and Longay. Whilst that was all going on, Nixon doing what he could to try and gain position and nearly got squashed into the wall by the Renault. But, oh my goodness, it's impossible to know where to look.
There's so much happening all the time. Yolta's involved in a battle with Pampenic as well. There's part of this battle that's going on for Nicta, and ultimately this is a very long train that's going on for P7 as that wing damage on Kai is really starting to affect him. All these left-hand turns that he's having to go through that require aerodynamical grip are just costing him. So like this one here, for example, he's fine on the right-hander, but he's now struggling because Daniel's in his toe. He's got DRS as well on this, and there's not much that Kai can do here. He's just going to have to sit tight, I guess, defend the inside line, but the pace is just too much from the Racing Point, and through he goes now. Daniel up to P7. Racing Point looking good, and it's Alpha that's looking even better.
Yeah, Kai knew he had no answer to that. There's a little bit of a nudge, I think. Oh, Kai's having oh my goodness me. And now that I didn't expect. I didn't expect Kai to respond in kind. Like you say, he's struggling on the left-hander. There's 2 left-handers he's just done, and Brownie is now getting involved in this battle.
Oh, who's this? Williams at Nickton. Wow, he's gone right down the inside, slammed into the back of Daniel. Daniel went off into the wall. He's got right end plate damage. Pampernic's getting a fair few places. You've also got Yolt getting involved in this battle as well. He's trying to slip through. Big tank slapper there. He loses the a little bit of grip on the rear left. He clipped it into the wall there. More damage going on up the field as Pampernic and Kai had an almost moment as Pampernic just slips on through. I think there might have been a little bit of a touch between them. This is just mental.
Absolutely, it is.
Oh, who's that copy? Wow, he just sent a huge nuclear missile down the inside, and he almost got the position on Yonti. It looked like he got caught out in the braking zone. He almost gained through that, but wow, that was a big send.
Goodness me, Yelta now right on the back of Daniel, who was having a go at Kai Bettini. Whoa, side by side coming through 13. Oh, and there comes the Renault. Can he get the racing point? No, he backs out of it before they get to turn 15. Oh my goodness me, I think Daniel may have lost another section of front wing. I just saw a bit bounce off of someone. Get owned to Nick Turner just swap round. The Mercedes has gone ahead of the Williams. God,
look at Zuns. He's on the back of it. Nickton, the battle doesn't end. This is just non-stop action as Nickton's in trouble. Zuns is through. That's wing damage on the Nickton, I believe, or at least he's struggling for grip. Yellow flag sector 1. Who's that? Is that
there's
Nicholas?
Some idiot. So I think, oh no, it wasn't some idiot. Someone was, it might have been Mizzo, who'd, with one of the Alphas, was off at turn 1 or gone very, very deep. Oh, Nick Turner just made your day even more difficult. So Mizzo now down to fourth rather, as Hypers is still being chased by Infamous. Yeah. Dan is 3 seconds down the road, but I suspect these two are going to gain on him fairly rapidly.
Yeah, indeed. This is phenomenal. Apparently the only person in this big train... Oh, actually, 1 second. Yolta's gone down the inside of Kai. Kai's off into the wall. Big contact. No! Yolta's retired from the session due to a massive impact between him and Get-Owned. Get-Owned gets a 5-second penalty. We've also got Buemels, who's been caught up in this mess as well. I don't know if that... I don't know who... I mean, the stewards are going to be very busy at the end of this one. That was a huge collision. I think it was Yolta went a bit tight onto the inside and sent it regardless, as obviously he knew that there was a slow-moving Kai due to the wing damages received. And Yolta sending it, and ended up being a massive impact on... I think Kai's got even worse wing. Yes, he has. Left side is just in bits right now, so he's going to have a definite trip to the pits. I mean, he's going to try, I guess, to hold these guys back, but ultimately it'll be all for nothing. Although Nicholas Longuet on the back of Mizzo. He's on position, moving for P4 now. Mizzo's got no answer to this. He's clearly had issues earlier. You saw he had a yellow flag moment in Sector 1 at the end of Turn 1 going into Turn 2. And I think Nicholas will be moving swiftly into P4 any second now.
Yeah, Kai is trying to string this out. He wants to go onto a set of mediums, but he's going to have no choice. He's losing so much time, he'll lose an entire pit stop before the tyres are going to come to him. Kai Bettini's just lost another 2 zones and Yonti through. He's side by side with Yonti. Sure, he's just bring it in, Kai. Come on.
He's trying.
And he does.
He's trying. He's fighting with Yonti because Yonti's also got wing damage as well. That's a little bit. Oh, I thought he was going to hit him into the pits there. That would have been tragic if that happened. But there's so many people here that are having issues. Daniel's watching a battle behind him, which is for Nickton and Euless. This is for 18th and 19th place. And we still have Nicholas obviously got the position taken on Mizzo there. So he's up into P4. And Nickton into the pits yet again. This might even be a retirement, to be honest.
Yeah, that'll be the 3rd time Nick Turner's seen the pit lane, and Kai's gone on to soft tyres. They are never going to last that long. Well, if they do, I'd be very surprised. But we will see. Dan is still maintaining his lead. I mean, I say maintaining his lead. It is coming down slowly. It's now down to just shy of 2 seconds. But he's given it all he's got up front. I'll give him that. Give him his due. But Hypers has managed to give himself a decent amount of space between himself and Infamous. This will really give him the opportunity to stretch his legs. Longuet hasn't yet broken DRS to Mizzo, but he's slowly but surely. Oh, as Longuet bounces off the wall. Did he get wing damage as a result of that? No.
I think he's avoided it. Wow.
That was lucky. I mean, he hit it hard enough to give him wing damage, but Mizzo is gaining on him as a result of the pace that he lost coming through 15. It won't be close enough to challenge for the position, but it's close enough to give Nicholas Longuet something else to think about.
So, Infamous has now dropped out of DRS on Hypers. I mean, he's just returned it a little bit. Actually, Mizzo's through. Oh, yeah, Nicholas is in the pits here. So,
yeah, he's in the pits.
Interesting that he's chosen it now. Is he going to go into another set of mediums to go to the end of the race on? I mean, if he does, and a safety car comes out, he is laughing. Is that hard?
No,
mediums.
Mediums for him. Zones is in as well. I assume that is wing damage on the McLaren. Let's see. It's a set of mediums for him and a front wing for him.
Oh, and a time penalty as well. Look at that, having to save that.
Ouch.
Disaster.
Long wait for him.
His teammate though, look at that, in P1, smashing it. I mean, the other thing to think about is Hypers is actually closing in on this. There is a possibility. And again, all we need is a singular safety car will completely throw this race off kilter even more than it already is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Infamous has also gotten back with India Ranger Hypers. Can he hold on to that before they get round? Well, not quite, but can he get into it in the all-important detection zone? As Kai Bicini is beginning to pick up positions on his soft shod Red Bull. Another. Oh, I thought that was going to be a bit too deep coming into turn 6, but no. Keeps that one. Turn 4. Keeps that one out of the wall.
So I'm told Kai's on softs by a mistake, not from his part, but from the game. Apparently, he selected mediums, but the game chose softs for him. So he's very much
that old chestnut.
I mean, I don't know, but he has witnesses. He has an alibi, so we'll give him that. Dan is in the pits then, so he's gone medium, so he's going to have to choose to go into another set. This is where Nicholas Longue might actually gain something. He is no longer stuck behind traffic. He's just running under his own free air, at least for about 4 seconds. For Dan. Wow. Well, I suppose that's a good call, actually, thinking about it. 15 laps, if you include the one they're on as well right now, could potentially be the issue.
Well, they're hoping that they don't get another safety car. They just want the race to run to the end, which feels a bit more spread out now. There's less chances of it, but this race has been crazy enough as it is. Anything could happen. But now, all eyes to the front. It's a straight fight between Hypers and Infamous at the moment.
Yep. Lewis actually just made a very nice little overtake on Daniel as Daniel's coming back at him, trying to repay everything. Oh, contact between them. Somehow there's no damage and somehow they're both still going fine. But that was a very big, ballsy attempt from Daniel to do what he did. It didn't work out for him. It didn't cost anybody anything other than a little bit of time.
Somebody is back up in the third. Pan Pernick has just had an incident in the middle of the castle section.
Yeah,
I was on board with Brownie and he misjudged the wall. He took the entrance, turn 8, too tight, bounced off of it, and dead front wing. And Brownie will be enjoying that one as he comes past. He definitely saw the. He couldn't take. He just could not take turn 15 properly whatsoever. Brownie's danced around him. Yeah, that's going to be painful for Pan. Surely he's going to have to bring that one in immediately. He can't carry on like that because he lost both end plates.
Yeah. I think he's even lost an element on one of his wings, I believe, which would be even more disastrous. Yeah, just turning now. It's amazing how much those end plates actually affect the car. Carving the air and just slicing it apart is what that wing, the end plate actually does so well. And, Papernick in the pits then. It's going to have to be a new wing. Is he going to go for another set of hards, or is he going to go... Oh, he's got mediums.
Yeah, I would have thought mediums from this point on. We're only just halfway in the race.
Yeah, I've still got plenty to go. Nicholas Longue setting the fastest lap time then of the session, 1:41.302. So there's a point on to his books if he can maintain in a points position. He's obviously P11 right now, which is outside of that, which is very uncharacteristic for him. But again, it's Baku. Anything can happen here in Baku. A singular safety car comes out, and Nicholas is in a much better position. I think he needs one, though. I think these guys are on the mediums. I think they're in trouble. Anybody who's on mediums right now is in big trouble coming towards the end of the race. Having done this race just the other day, hards can go so far. So Dan, for example, and Mizzo, if a safety car comes out, these guys are absolutely P1 and 2.
Well, you heard it here first. But equally, I mean, you look at there's a great scrap going on. Copy, Mizzo, and Dennis. Dennis has had a pretty tumultuous start to this race now, up in the points paying positions with Mizzo and Copy. Now, Mizzo's pitted, but Copy hasn't. So Mizzo could try and make the move. Danny's not far ahead of them either. So there's a lovely scrap forming there. Dan is not far off the back of Brownie either now. Dan's a very fresh tyre.
Nicholas and Buemels, they're going for a little change. Nicholas went for a very interesting move there. I mean, it worked out for him. He didn't get in any sort of trouble or any issues for it. Dennis had a big wobble coming out that exact same corner that Nicholas just went through. He's kept himself very much pointing in the right direction. But Nicholas, on these fresh mediums, realizes the pressure that's on him. He has to really put his foot down now and deliver exceptional pace.
he's just going to have to do quali laps. It's all or nothing, do or die for him, as Dan and Brownie have swapped round. I thought that was going to happen as they come into turn 1. The McLaren now up into 4th position. Mizzo and Copy are swapped round for 8th place. Again, same move, same place. So those younger hard tyres are beginning to come good for Dan and Mizzo. Yeah, how far will Nicholas Longe go? Well, we'll see. It really does depend on safety cars. I think you might have made that point once or twice. But I can't see now, unless some really bizarre event happens. I mean, I don't know if you've got a meteor landing on the track at some point in the weather forecast, but it's going to say something pretty amazing. Whoa, infamous sideways coming out on turn 12 out of the castle section. Nicely done. Not the fastest way of doing it, but damn, it was flashy.
Yeah, he's got to be careful though, because I've just seen the temps on his. If you look on his dash, that temp keeps flicking up to 100 degrees on his rear right. You'll see it again if he loses the rear here. I mean, he is very heavy on the accelerator. He's all right there though. This is the bit where it will cool down quite nicely, as long as he maintains the lines he's doing. 100 degrees, 100. Oh, they were both over 100 degrees there for a second. He is struggling today on these tyres.
What's Hyper's doing? I can't read that.
Oh, Infamous is in.
Infamous is? He is in.
Interesting. Dan's going for some idiot. Here we go for a move. This is for P3, remember. Despite the fact that some idiots on hards, Dan will use these tyres right the way to the end. So this is net P3, ultimately. It might even be net P1, depending on how Hypers and Infamous do on the final medium stint that they're going. I mean, Hypers might actually take his mediums far enough to go into softs. I think that'd be a mistake, though, because his mediums will be cooked when he decides to pit.
First set of mediums for Infamous comes out in 4th position. And somebody is going to be right the way down the field. He's now coming out of the pit lane. He's going to come out.
Watch Mizzo. He's on Danny. This is DRS overtake potential. Mizzo is faster overall times. Here he goes then. Big send down the inside. It's going to be a side-by-side for a little bit. Nope. Danny decides. Mizzo! That was very well held out the wall there. And Danny just laps that back up again. Says, thank you very much. I'll take P5. And you're just going to have to sit there and wait for me to make a mistake, or you get another DRS then.
Now you tell me Mizzo didn't clench when that happened. I did, and I was watching. Good grief, that was just a please stop.
Brownie, no. Brownie's just hit the wall in Castle. The right end plate is in bits now. 14 laps in on these hards, and here comes Infamous just sliding on through because he has his wing. He has the grip. He's got fresh mediums to go with it, and that's him up now into P3 again. So this is net P3, remember. This is looking really good for Infamous.
Nicholas Longe is now on the back of Mizzo. He's going to try and repeat the move he did only a lap ago. He's not in the right position to do it. Coming into turn 13, bounces over the curb as much as he dares. He's got 2 hard shod cars ahead of him. Hypers is in. So it is all going to be down. Longe is pushing as hard as he possibly can. I don't reckon he's going to have enough tyres by the time he gets to the end of the race to realistically challenge for the win. We will see. And once again, it comes down to what the safety car's going to do. Here comes Longe. Oh, that is so close, but he's not at the pace. Mizzo has actually got the slipstream and DRS open from Danny to keep the racing point behind. But, it's a huge send from Longe. Can he get the position done? He's got Mizzo, but Mizzo's fighting back on the outside of turn 1. Can the hard shot Alpha do anything into turn 2? He's hanging on to it. Longe still has not dislodged Mizzo. But he's going to have an outside maneuver again.
There.
Surely he can't hold on for another. No, he backs out of it. He gave you everything he had. It was a fair effort. A nudge on the back of the racing point. No harm done. Fair play, Mizzo, but a great effort all round. Hyper's only lost 1 position from that pit stop, but he's got Infamous on his tail again.
I do not know how we're going week on week, having more and more exciting racing. This could not be any closer between these drivers. Mizzo did such a good job of staying alongside Nicholas, and Nicholas just didn't have the straight line pace. Clearly has that bit too much aero on him, but this is the bit where it works out better for him, in Sector 2, where he can really start to navigate the corners. The issue is, overtaking here is not easy. You have to get the exit of Dreams, which is about to show Danny. This is how you do it, son. Although he hasn't turned his DRS up high enough, so he's going to have to wait a little while first. Back to 0 again. He's waiting for the DRS zone. I think that's the right call, considering Danny will come straight back at him with the DRS on the home straight. So Danny, this is a P4 now, as Infamous is 10 seconds up the road in comparison to Nicholas.
Wow. With that with 11 laps remaining, or the remainder of 10 laps remaining. Ooh, I think that's going to be a bit of an ask, but we will see.
Yep.
Here comes Longay. Surely now it's going to be Slipstream DRS. Job done. Infamous and Hypers have swapped round for second position as Nicholas has flown past Danny, or so comparatively flown past him. But yeah, indeed, the Haas has managed to overhaul the Mercedes for second place, or the prospective race lead, as Hypers again has a look coming down towards, where are they at now? Let's turn 4 and 5, 5 and 6 rather. Oh, crikey. Hypers means business, and they got 10 laps to do this. As, well, that's the first penalty we got on the board. That was one for Ulyss.
Yeah, and that was at the same time as where Daniel just lost the rear. Oh, Ulyss did exactly the same thing. Here's where Daniel's going to come back at it, and then he's got the DRS wing. Oh, he's decided, nope, I'm going to move to mode 0. I don't want to take this. But yeah, Daniel had a mistake coming out of turn 1. That caused him to lose the rear end. Ulyss did exactly the same thing coming out of turn 2, and that caused him to lose his rear end. But Daniel couldn't capitalize on it in the same way that Ulyss did. And that's why it stays Ulyss in P12, Daniel P13 with Yonti within DRS range for the battle of P12.
It's hard to know where to look. You've got a great battle for the, well, I say potential race lead. Dan does not have to come in again. If he is a defensive god, he could potentially take the win. If Infamous and Hypers keep fighting, burn out their tyres and don't gain on the McLaren, he could well have pulled that off. We will see. It's a bold, bold statement.
Yeah.
But Longay now has gotten clear, well clear of Danny. Speaking of Hypers and Infamous, here we go again. It's Slipstream and DRS time, and that's going to be a fairly easy move. The Haas does not defend that. He knew he didn't have anything to defend it with. As we start another lap, 9 to go.
Now, I just saw Hypers make an interesting decision on that home straight. He actually he turned his DRS off. He also turned his ERS off and decided that he didn't want to go for it. And then suddenly he changed his mind again, and then DRS went wide up and ERS mode up to mode 4 again. And that's why he was so late in the braking zone of when he actually then got the move. Well, sorry, in the lead up to the braking zone where he finally got the move done. He was a very delayed response, and Ulyss. Oh, look at this three-way battle going on. Daniel and Yonti, they went side by side. Yonti's gained both these places. Yonti's going to have to stick around the outside. Daniel has actually a little bit of wheel to wheel. Here comes Ulyss looking for the toe from Yonti. He's going to slip right through. Yonti's holding this line as tight as he can. They're practically 3 wide, although Yonti might be the person who gets victimized here as he's stuck on the inside. Ulyss is around. They've gone side by side, and Ulyss back into P12.
Wow.
Well done to hold that, and it's still not over because Daniel's trying to get through here on Yonti, but Yonti's just that much better going through it. They've kept it all together, and Yonti will stay. Well, he's gained a position. He's up to P13 now, but that was so close.
And Ulyss has the oldest tyres of the bunch.
Zons is going for a move. Oh, no, he decided against it. Sorry, as you went.
Ulyss has got the oldest tyres of that entire pack and still managed to make it stick. That was a great move. Up front, though, Dan has been reeled in by Hypers. He's now well within DRS range. But equally, Infamous has fallen off a little bit, the back of Hypers. And Longay's not really closed that gap in at all. Here comes the Mercedes. Surely, yeah, he's going to have that one done. Yeah, committed in good time to that inside line. Dan knew he had no particular answer to that. Through into the lead then. Here's Hypers. Infamous wants to get through as well. But again, don't discount those hard tyres coming good before the checker flag falls. If Dan can just stay with Hypers, which is an exceedingly hard thing to do. We know how fast Hypers is, but equally, I'm very surprised that Longay is not closing that gap down. He's not fighting anyone. It could well be, still damage on that car, or re-inherited damage, I should say. Let's have a quick look at the front wing.
Some idiot, 1 second, he's made a move done on copy. That is a P7 done for him then, so he can hold that one at least for a little while. Infamous is still on the back of Dan, he just cannot find a way through. I think ultimately Dan's got P3 no matter what. But like you said, if the medium tyres suddenly fall off towards the end, Dan could very much come into his element there and just slap it all up. Also to mention for you that the Driver of the Day vote has now been opened. You are able to cast your vote if you do ! vote in the chat. That'll be where you can go ahead and do it. If you are watching this on YouTube on the replay, then feel free to type in the chat who you think should be Driver of the Day at this moment in time. But Infamous, ready to attack Dan now. It's going to be a nice, simple overtake, I think.
Yeah, I would say so. Hypers has done enough to make sure that the McLaren does not have DRS on him. and Dan will know that Infamous is coming up behind him. There he goes. Dan knows not to do anything silly there. Hyper's had to jump out the slipstream probably a bit earlier than he would have liked, but has got everything turned up as far as he needs to. Dan just sits in the slipstream and just needs to bide his time. It could well still all come good for him before the checkered flag falls, and still Longay continuing to lose time. I mean, Longay doesn't have anybody to slipstream off of, and we know how powerful that is. So that could be the main contributing factor, as Dennis and Panpernik doing the exact same maneuver. The Ferrari sliding through into 9th position. Wemmels is not far off the back, but as they hit turn 1, there's nothing he can do. Yonti and Eulis doing the same thing. Down, that is for 12th position. That pack is still very closely condensed. So Yonti on the mediums, Eulis and Daniel on the hards, and Zones at the back of the field. And Brownie's not far off the back of it either. So that's now a 5-way battle for a non-points paying position. They're still having a great old scrap out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a battle going on for P9 right now, which is Panpernik, Dennis, and Buemmels really trying to take it to Panpernik. I'm not sure how they're going to do that. Daniel having a bit of a wobble there on the exit. That was not a good thing. But Infamous is outside of DRS of Hypers. Bear that in mind. It's a 1.2 between them. And honestly, I think around about lap 23 is probably when we're going to see Dan suddenly gain a lot of pace, as I'm seeing Zones on the back of Daniel. Daniel's gone defensive. Zones has to brake a little bit earlier than he wanted. Potentially mistimed that braking zone a little bit, I think. Oh, that's Daniel into the wall in the castle. End play on the right has definitely left his car. That has pretty much put Daniel in a very bad place now, as Zones will come through. Brownie will come through shortly. And I think Daniel now, he's in a bad place. A very bad place.
And that's the nature of the castle section. It will just bite you at any given opportunity. And he was barely out of position. It was so close. But the racing point is just gonna fall away now, as Zones and Brownie will take that position, as Panpernik now up into 8th position.
Oh, Mizzo.
Ahead Williams. What's Mizzo doing? Yeah.
He just got a penalty. 3-second time penalty has been applied to his car, which will put him behind Danico right now. Oh, here comes Zones on Daniel. It's in the braking zone is where this is going to have to go down as the outside west. Wow, Brownie, where did you come from? That was a huge yeet moment there. It did not work out for him at all. You can't blame him for trying it, but that was a very late move to even attempt, if I'm being truthfully honest. P16 is where he stays. Now the gap is 1.5 seconds. And yeah, that was a bold attempt. Just did not work out.
That's one word for it. That was, as Martin Brundle would say, a day late and a dollar short to make that one work. But yeah, fair play for trying it. Wemmels and Dennis still fairly close together. That pack has spread out now. It's a shame because it was a great battle going on, but the hard tyres have gone a long way, so they've got very little left in them now. So we'll see how they're able to keep the cars on the road. Yeah, the most of the battles have sadly spread out now. Brownie has closed back in on Daniel, bearing in mind that Daniel has lost a fair chunk of that right wing. The Renault should be able to overcome the racing point relatively quickly. Again, he's wary. He's going to have to stay there and do the overtake on the start-finish straight, but that's going to lose him a lot of time against Zones and Eulis ahead of them.
Yeah. Buemmels and Dennis are in their own little battle as well. This is again for points position, the final of those points positions. Nobody wants to be the best of the rest of the world if they can avoid it, especially if they can get a points position, but right now Dennis is in trouble. It's not going to be an overtake just yet unless we see another yeet moment, which I don't think we are going to see, as Buemmels is working his way close. It does have an end plate missing on that right hand side on that Toro Rosso. That could cause issues later. We have seen a swap of positions between Brownie and Daniel, as Daniel's tricked himself into the pits. Almost guaranteed to be going onto the soft tyres, which is a big shame, really, because Daniel was looking very quick overall.
Ooh, Buemmels and Dennis. Oh, Buemmels, you need to get that one done before you get down to turn 3. And he does. Nicely driven, Dennis! Oh, my goodness me, that shows how little he's got left in those tyres.
Oh, I just saw 112 degrees on the rear left for Dennis. He's in a bad place right now. But this is also around about the time now where I'm seeing these hards start to come to life for Dan and Mizzo. Watch the times now over the next few laps. The gaps will start to disintegrate for Dan if he can maintain the pace. Infamous's gap to Hypers will start to drop, I think, initially, and then you'll start to see Dan reel him in just a touch. Not yet, though. I think at lap 23, 24 is where that will happen, I reckon.
Euless is struggling. Really, really struggling now. Oh, that tail has just been so lively. For the last few turns, here comes Brownie, sweeping around the outside of Euless, and that's 14th then for the Renault. Euless has got nothing left in the rears of that car. They are boiled to death. There's the wall. He's just got no grip. Absolutely.
I think he's got left end plate missing. No, right end plate missing, sorry.
Well, so I've been keeping an eye on Infamous, and he has been very slowly doing his best against Hypers, but Hypers has been pushing like a maniac to maintain that lead as Panpernick and Samidiot. Panpernick has been making slow, steady progress through the field. He's now up to 7th position behind his teammate. Danny's got 21 lap old hard tyres. They will be screaming enough by now.
Yeah.
As Euless is in. Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame for Euless, but we did see him bounce off the wall. Daniel earlier on, as you quite correctly predicted, has gone on to these soft tyres. Somebody doing what he can against Panpernick, who overtook him onto lap 1. And Infamous has made a mistake. He has lost a whole bucket load of time. Has he had an argument with the wall in the castle section? Well, if he has, he hasn't lost any front wing as a result. But he's suddenly 1.7 seconds or thereabouts behind Hypers. So that is not going to help his cause. Dan, if his tyres are coming good, he's a long way behind them now. 4.5 seconds to the McLaren. Maywood does opt to settle for third, as Nicholas has not been able to eat into that gap really by any significant amount. But that's a fair effort, though, from the McLaren.
Yeah, I think Nicholas is now just in nurse it home kind of mode in a minute. But I mean, if Dan can get P3, I mean, neither of us put him on the top 3 prediction. In fact, I was looking at chat. No one predicted Dan in the top 3 at all, and he's really sort of shown everyone. Well, you can doubt me if you want to, but doubters never win in my case. The 2 Ferraris, though, look at this, P6, P7. There's an opportunity here. Mizzo has actually cleared the 3-second penalty he's got on him by being that little bit further ahead. Nicolas Longuet with a 3-second time penalty. So in terms of position, that won't mean anything for Nicholas. He's not only is he more than far enough ahead of Mizzo, but if Mizzo did somehow magically make it within 3 seconds of him, he's got his own penalty to worry about too. So it's going to stay as is. It's more if Mizzo can stay ahead of Danico by that 3-second margin. Here comes Panpernick, who seems to be on just so much better pace right now. This is where Panpernick will be able to knock that 3-second time penalty that Mizzo's got into the dirt. And if he can pass him and hold him back, Danico will gain that position as well.
Yeah, I can't see that Danico had any inclination to fight his teammate. I doubt he had any ability to. Oh, he had the ability to. He just didn't have any tyres to do it. Didn't quite come out as I thought. Somebody as well in there. He's wanted to upset that particular party, so he could get involved in that battle.
Ooh. Panpernick nearly lost the rear there. Well, he did lose the rear, but he caught it again. It was just a very lively exit for him unnecessarily. His tyres will be pretty hot. In fact, I can see it. Yep, they were over the 100 degree mark on the rears. Just how much that can do to you is phenomenal. The tyre wear that will take is just crazy on this track.
Oh, I'm looking at Dennis and Yonti. Battle for 11th. Again, Dennis with a lively tail on that Red Bull. 20 lap old hard tyres will do that. And again, the Haas could not find the traction he needed at the time when he needed it. As we are approaching, we're well into now the penultimate lap.
Yep.
And it's Hypers to lose now.
Now, just to remind you all that Driver of the Day vote will close at the end of the race. So if you've not yet cast your vote, now is the time to do it. You need to get that vote in as quick as you can so we can ascertain who has got the Twitch Track Driver of the Day. Dennis has lost that position to Yonti, so Best of the Rest award has now gone to him. There's a little bit of a weave there from Zones. I don't know what he was necessarily doing, if he was messing around or just trying to say something to Brownie. Brownie having a moment there, just a little kiss of the wall. It's insane how there's been literally a battle non-stop throughout this entire Grand Prix. Whether it's been one battle or whether it's been like this, where there's 3, 4 even, it's still been going non-stop. Dan Not quite using the hards as well as I thought he might have done, given the fact that they should now be in a great place. I think he's struggling. Has he got damage? That's the only way I can imagine these hards are not... Well, he hasn't got damage. He's just not doing well on his hards.
That's the way it goes. All credit to Hypers and Infamous. They've done brilliantly well in this race. As Hypers weaves his way through the twisties to start the final lap. Infamous is nowhere near DRS range to the Mercedes, so unless Hypers bounces off the wall, then Infamous is just going to have to chase that Mercedes tail home once again. But yeah, it's, driver of the day, that's going to be so difficult to vote on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you probably give it to Dan, to be honest. Like, he has really worked out here. He's getting 9 places in this Grand Prix. He is the biggest winner of all of them. The biggest loser, sadly, is at Nickton, who did a really solid qualifying session, just kept getting caught up in too much, and that was ultimately what cost him. I'm looking around the field to see how we're doing.
Dennis, you bounced off the wall. Oh, sorry to cut you off there.
That's all right.
Dennis is just struggling everywhere. And Zones is right there to capitalise on it. Here comes Brownie to do the same. It's going to be another 2 positions to Dennis. Oh, this could get a bit nasty for Brownie. He's now on the outside of the McLaren. Oh, is he going to try and send him on the outside of turn 1? Oh,
he's done it.
Someone had a Weetabix for breakfast. That was a great move.
That was incredible. Brownie, well done. I mean, we saw the yeet moment that you had earlier a few laps ago where he tried to do 2 cars down the inside and it didn't work out for him. This time he says, maybe I'll just do it properly, shall I? As you can see, Zones is trying to do the same thing, but it's not worked out for him. Brownie says, I've read that book. I just showed you that book just a second ago, and now I'm not letting you do it back to me, so thank you for that. P12 now for Brownie. Ultimately, it's not going to mean anything as it is a non-points position, but there is a battle for a points position, or even 2 points positions, as Copy is currently the leader of this 3-way battle that Brownie could get involved in if it should so go to it. We need to go to race leader as Hypers is on the home straight. He has done such an incredible job to race the cleanest race he could do, the most consistent race he could have, and will cross the line to take the win, with Infamous taking second, and a very big result there from Dan, who will take a massive P3, which is huge for McLaren. And then you got Nicholas Longe, who's had a bit of a disaster, to be truthfully honest. He's not had the greatest race. He was up there in P2, and then a little bit of a mistake off his own back. That's all it was. We'll take P4 as Mizzo is coming up to take P5 for now, but Pampernick, he's right on that limit. Look at that. He's actually within it. This could go to Pampernick. P5 for Pampernick. Well done, sir. Keeping it clean enough. Danny will take 7th. Some idiot will take 8th. Copy has got Buemos, but not close enough as Yonti's coming up for the toe. Is he going to be able to get anything out of this? I don't think he is. Copy will take P9. Buemos takes 10th, but Yonti jumps it, gets the 10th position. Brownie gets best of the rest. Geton will eventually make it through for 14th place, and then we'll have a little bit of a wait for the others to make it through, but there is still a battle going on as Nick Turn is working his way onto Kai Pacini, who is there on the mediums.
Dennis binned it. He came out of turn 19, and he's binned it. Oh, I mean, he wouldn't have got any points anyway, but he didn't even make it to the line.
Absolute heartbreak for him then in that respect. But here we go, Nick Turn and Kai Pacini. They are going to be drag racing all the way to the finish line. Who's going to get it? Oh, it's a Nick Turn. I think it was down to penalties. I think Kai Pacini actually made it to the line first, but penalties implicated meant that... Dennis had a puncture. That was what caused him to DNF. He actually had a puncture. That was a heartbreak and a half then for him. But Hypers, he puts himself on that top step of the podium for the 2nd race in a row. Well done, Hypers, to deliver the race you've delivered and the consistency that you've chucked in today. That was phenomenal. But I can inform you that Dan is your driver of the day with 43.5% of the votes. Wow. Very well done, sir, for that. Very well deserved. Absolutely well deserved.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, there were a lot of eligible candidates. I mean, it's almost cruel to deny it from Hypers because his race was flawless. Yeah. But yeah, Dan, very very much the dark horse of that particular top 3, and led for quite a distance as well. It has to be said. But look at Hypers' fastest lap compared to everyone around him. That's absolutely stunning. So yeah, I would say Hypers' brilliant efforts. Dan, a worthy winner of the RNL Driver of the Day award. Oh, I'm so knackered. I can barely get my words out.
Well, we'll give you the final rundown at the end of that Grand Prix. Is Hypers on pole? On pole in the race win position, should I say?
We're not
Infamous
doing
there
this
in
again.
second. Yeah, we're not doing it again now. Dan in P3. Nicholas takes fourth. Pampernick in fifth. Mizzo in sixth. Danico in seventh. Samidia in eighth with Copy in ninth. Yonti takes the final points position with Brownie getting best of the rest with Zuns, Buemels, Ghetto, and Daniel, Eulis, and Nickton and Kai being the last of the remaining finishers, with Dennis and Yolta being the only two DNFs, unbelievably, in that race. But it does leave me to ask you one final question, Mr. King Kodiak. Who is your driver of the day?
Oh, so I agree with the populace vote. I think Dan was a well-worthy winner of that. But I think you can't deny that Hypers just played that one perfectly well. Well, if there was a runner-up, I would certainly give it to him because his race was absolutely flawless. Started on the pole, fastest lap by quite some distance over certainly those around him. I think somebody else actually got the fastest lap in the end. It was indeed Nickton from the tail end of the grid on the soft tyres. Fought off Infamous. Infamous did a brilliant job keeping the pressure on, but just didn't have the pace at the end. But Dan, from starting in 12th, coming home on the podium and leading for a long way. Yep, I have no issue with that going to the McLaren.
Yeah, it was a big moment for him, and I'm very pleased that he managed to achieve what he was hoping to achieve. So that is it for the Rwagnation League here in Baku. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you. Thank you, Mr. King Kodiak, as well, for joining us. I honestly couldn't be any more appreciative for all the effort that you've chucked in for me tonight. Thank you so much, sir. I am, however, going to call it a night there because it's been a very long stream, and my voice and my whole body is drained and